In a quiet Colorado cabin, Jessica and Mark Thompson had longed for a child for years. When that dream finally came true, they never expected their fiercest protector to be the wild creature they once rescued. Luna, a bobcat with golden eyes and an unshakable bond with the family, seemed to sense things no human could. Her nightly vigils beside the crib, her tense stares, her refusal to let the baby sleep alone. It all seemed like unusual but harmless affection until one night when Luna fought to protect and force the truth into the light. What was this bobcat protecting the child from? Why did the parents call the police? This is the story of instincts that ran deeper than trust, of a silent sentinel who saw what no one else did, and of a revelation that would shatter everything they thought they knew. Before we start, hit the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. The morning light filtered through the bedroom curtains as Jessica Thompson awoke to the familiar weight of Luna, their rescued bobcat, pressing against her still flat stomach. It had been 3 weeks since Luna had begun this strange new behavior, curling protectively around Jessica's midsection each night, refusing to budge until morning. Mark, Jessica's husband of 5 years, found it amusing, but Jessica sensed something more meaningful in the animal's behavior. "She knows," Jessica whispered one morning, stroking Luna's spotted fur as the bobcat purred contentedly. "Somehow, she knows before we do." Mark smiled indulgently from the doorway. At 35, his dark hair was just beginning to show touches of silver at the temples, and laugh lines had settled permanently around his eyes, lines that had deepened through years of disappointment and hope as they struggled to conceive. "Now what, Jess?" he asked, bringing her a cup of herbal tea. "That you're going to be late for work again because she won't let you up?" Jessica shook her head, a small, secret smile playing at her lips. Something else. 3 days later, a plastic pregnancy test confirmed what Luna had sensed weeks before. After 5 years of trying, after 2 miscarriages and countless negative tests, Jessica was pregnant. When she showed Mark the positive test, tears streaming down her face, Luna sat regally at her feet, golden eyes gleaming with what Jessica could only describe as satisfaction. Luna had come into their lives 3 years earlier, a half-grown bobcat cub found injured and abandoned near their home in rural Colorado. Mark, a wildlife veterinarian at the local rehabilitation center, had brought the cub home temporarily while she recovered from a leg injury. The plan had been to release her back into the wild once healed, but fate had other ideas. Luna had formed an immediate bond with Jessica, who worked from home as a children's book illustrator. While most bobcats remained wild even in captivity, Luna displayed an unusual affinity for domesticity, and Jessica in particular. When release day came, Luna had stubbornly returned to their cabin 3 times, the last time with an injured paw that Mark suspected was self-inflicted. "Some animals just choose their people," the Wildlife Center director had finally admitted, "and this one has chosen you too." With special permits and accommodations made for their unusual pet, Luna became part of their family, the child they hadn't yet been able to have. "She's going to be jealous," Mark's mother warned when they announced Jessica's pregnancy 6 weeks later. They were sitting in the sunny kitchen of their log cabin home, where Luna lounged possessively at Jessica's feet. "Luna's already protective of the baby," Jessica defended, reaching down to stroke the bobcat's spotted head. "She knew I was pregnant before I did." Mark's mother, Eleanor, looked skeptical. "Wild animals are unpredictable, Jessica. What happens when there's a crying infant in the house? You read those stories about pets attacking babies." "Mom," Mark interrupted firmly, "Luna isn't just a pet, and she's been nothing but gentle. We'll be careful, but we're not sending her away." Eleanor sighed, her lined face creasing with worry. At 68, she'd seen enough of life to know that even the best intentions could lead to tragedy. Just promise me you'll keep a close eye on how she reacts when the baby comes." Jessica nodded, but in her heart she had no fears about Luna. The bobcat had already shown more awareness and protectiveness than any ordinary house pet might have. Each night, Luna curled around Jessica's growing belly, purring softly, as if communicating with the life growing inside. Lily Grace Thompson was born on a crisp autumn morning after 18 hours of labor. Mark drove Jessica home from the hospital 2 days later, their tiny daughter secured in her car seat. Both parents were nervous about how Luna would react to the new arrival. They needn't have worried. When Mark carried the car seat into the living room, Luna approached cautiously, her nose twitching as she sniffed the air. Jessica held her breath as the bobcat peered into the car seat, golden eyes studying the sleeping infant. After a long moment, Luna made a soft chirping sound, a maternal call that female bobcats used with their cubs, and settled on the floor beside the car seat, her posture alert and protective. That night, when they placed Lily in her crib in the nursery they'd prepared, Luna positioned herself beneath the crib, refusing to leave. "Should we let her stay?" Mark whispered as they stood in the doorway watching. Jessica nodded. "I think she's appointed herself as guardian. Let's see how it goes tonight." When Lily woke crying at 2 a.m., Luna was already pacing restlessly at the nursery door, before the baby monitor had even picked up the first whimper. From then on, a pattern was established. Luna would alert them to Lily's needs, sometimes, before the baby herself knew she was hungry or uncomfortable. "It's like having a furry nurse," Jessica marveled to Mark one night as they watched Luna curl protectively around the edge of Lily's playmat, where the 3-month-old infant was attempting to roll over. Mark, who had initially been more cautious about leaving Luna alone with Lily, had grown to trust the bobcat's instincts completely. "She's better with Lily than some human babysitters would be," he agreed. When Jessica's maternity leave ended after 6 months, the question of childcare became pressing. Jessica's work as an illustrator was flexible, but she still needed uninterrupted time at her drawing table to meet deadlines. Mark's schedule at the Wildlife Center was more demanding, with long days that sometimes stretched into evenings during busy seasons. "What about Emily?" Mark suggested one evening as they discussed options. "She's between jobs right now, and she's always saying how much she wants to spend time with Lily." Emily Reynolds had been Jessica's best friend since college. The two women had roomed together for 4 years, and Emily had been maid of honor at Jessica and Mark's wedding. She was godmother to Lily and had already spoiled the baby with countless gifts and visits. "That could work," Jessica agreed thoughtfully. "She's great with Lily, and it would only be 2 or 3 days a week." The first day Emily came to babysit was also the first day Luna's behavior toward the woman changed. Previously, Luna had been indifferent to Emily, tolerating her presence in the house, but showing none of the affection she displayed toward Jessica or Mark. But that morning, as Emily bent to take Lily from Jessica's arms, Luna positioned herself. Between them, her ears flattened against her head. "Luna, it's just Emily," Jessica scolded gently, nudging the bobcat aside. "You know her." Luna made a low, growling sound, but stepped aside, her golden eyes never leaving Emily as she took Lily. "She's just being protective," Jessica explained apologetically to Emily. "She'll get used to the new arrangement." Emily smiled, though her eyes remained wary of the bobcat. "It's okay, I understand. She's just looking out for her little sister." But as the weeks passed, Luna's attitude toward Emily only worsened. The bobcat refused to leave Lily's side when Emily was in the house, watching the woman's every move with suspicious intensity. When Emily approached the crib to put Lily down for a nap, Luna would pace anxiously, sometimes placing herself bodily between Emily and the crib. "I'm getting a little concerned about Luna's behavior with Emily," Jessica admitted to Mark one evening after Emily had gone home. "She's almost hostile." Mark frowned, watching Luna where she lay curled at the foot of Lily's crib, seemingly peaceful now that it was just family in the house. Has she shown any aggression, tried to bite or scratch? No, Jessica said slowly. She just watches and blocks, like she doesn't trust Emily with Lily. Maybe she's just having trouble adjusting to someone else caring for Lily, Mark suggested, though his brow remained furrowed. Let's give it a little more time. By the time Lily was 8 months old, the situation with Luna and Emily had not improved. If anything, Luna had become more overly protective, hissing when Emily picked Lily up and refusing to leave the room even for meals when the babysitter was present. "Your cat hates me," Emily joked one afternoon as Jessica returned home from a meeting with a publisher. Jessica sighed, watching Luna shadow Emily's movements as she packed up her things. "I don't understand it. She's never like this with anyone else who visits." Emily shrugged. "Some animals just take a mysterious dislike to people. My grandmother had a parrot that screamed bloody murder whenever my uncle visited. No one else, just him. Still," Jessica said, taking Lily from Emily's arms and immediately noting how Luna relaxed, the tension visibly leaving the bobcat's body as soon as Lily was back with Jessica. "I'm sorry if it makes your job harder." "It's fine," Emily assured her. "She never interferes when I'm caring for Lily. She just supervises very intensely." But later that week, when Mark's mother visited for the first time in several months, Jessica noticed something odd. Luna, who had never been particularly fond of Eleanor, did not object when the older woman held and played with Lily. The bobcat watched, certainly, but with none of the tension she displayed around Emily. "That's strange," Jessica murmured to Mark that night. "Luna was completely at ease with your mother holding Lily today, not a hiss or a growl in sight." Mark considered this. "Mom isn't a threat," he said finally. "Luna knows that." An uncomfortable, a question hung in the air between them, unspoken. Did that mean Luna perceived Emily as a threat? 3 weeks later, Jessica and Mark had their first date night since Lily's birth. Eleanor was visiting her sister in Arizona, so Emily was the natural choice to babysit for the evening. "We'll just be at Antonio's," Mark told Emily as they prepared to leave. "It's 15 minutes away and we'll have our phones on the table." "Go enjoy yourselves," Emily urged them, already settled comfortably on the living room floor with Lily, who was happily gumming a soft toy. "We'll be fine, won't we, Lilybug?" Luna lay in the corner of the room, her golden eyes fixed on Emily with the same unblinking intensity she always showed when the woman was near Lily. "Luna seems calm tonight," Jessica observed hopefully. "Maybe she's finally getting used to you." Emily glanced at the bobcat and gave a small laugh. "Or maybe she's plotting my demise. Either way, we'll manage." As Jessica and Mark drove to the restaurant, Jessica couldn't shake a vague feeling of unease. "Maybe we should have asked your mother to come back early from Arizona," she said as Mark parked the car. Mark reached over and squeezed her hand. "Jess, Emily is your best friend. She loves Lily, and Luna hasn't done anything threatening. She's just being overprotective. We deserve one night out after 8 months." Jessica nodded, pushing away her concerns. "You're right. Let's enjoy this." They were halfway through their entrees when Mark's phone rang. He frowned at the screen. "It's Emily." Jessica felt her heart rate spike as Mark answered, putting the phone on speaker. "Mark!" "Jessica!" Emily's voice was strained, edged with panic. "I need you to come home now." "What's wrong?" Jessica demanded, already gathering her purse. "Is Lily okay?" "Lily's fine," Emily said quickly. "It's Luna. She's gone crazy. She tried to attack me when I was putting Lily down for the night. She's got me trapped in the bathroom now. I can hear Lily crying in her crib, but I can't get to her with Luna guarding the door." Mark was already signaling for the check. "We'll be right there. Just stay put," The 15-minute drive home seemed to take hours. Jessica's mind filled with terrible scenarios, Luna hurting Emily, Lily left crying and alone, and animal control taking Luna away. When they pulled into their driveway, the house appeared quiet from the outside. Mark entered first, Jessica close behind him. The sound of Lily's cries led them to the nursery, where they found their daughter standing in her crib, tears streaking her red face. Luna sat alert beneath the crib, her posture tense but not aggressive. "Lily, sweetheart, we're here." Jessica rushed to pick up her daughter, who immediately quieted in her mother's arms. Luna remained where she was, watching the doorway. "Emily," Mark called, moving down the hallway toward the bathroom. "It's us. You can come out now." The bathroom door opened a crack, and Emily peered out cautiously. "Is that beast locked up?" "She's in the nursery with Jessica and Lily," Mark assured her. "What exactly happened?" Emily stepped out, her face pale and her hands trembling slightly. "I was just putting Lily down after her bedtime bottle. Everything was normal. Then suddenly, Luna came charging in, snarling and hissing. She lunged at me. I swear she was going for my throat. Mark, I barely got out of the room in time." "Did you do anything that might have startled her?" Mark asked, his voice calm, but his expression troubled. Emily's eyes widened with indignation. "Of course not. I was just leaning over the crib, tucking Lily in like I always do. That cat has had it in for me from day one, and tonight she finally snapped." When they returned to the nursery, they found Jessica sitting in the rocking chair with Lily, who had calmed down and was now drowsily resting against her mother's shoulder. Luna had moved to Jessica's feet, appearing completely relaxed. "Look at her now," Emily said accusingly from the doorway, not daring to enter. Butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, but she was like a demon an hour ago. Mark looked from Luna to Emily, his face troubled. "Maybe it would be best if you went home, Emily. We can talk more tomorrow when everyone's calmer." After Emily left, Jessica laid the now sleeping Lily back in her crib. Luna immediately took up her usual position beneath it, showing no signs of the aggression Emily had described. "I don't understand," Jessica said, as she and Mark retreated to the living room. "Luna seems perfectly normal now." Mark rubbed his beard thoughtfully. "That's just it. She's normal with us, with Lily, and with everyone except Emily. You don't think—" Jessica started, then stopped, the implication too disturbing to voice. "I think," Mark said slowly, "that animals sometimes sense things that humans miss. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to check the security cameras." The home security system had been installed when they first brought Luna home, a requirement of their exotic pet permit. Cameras monitored the main living areas and Lily's nursery, with footage stored on a cloud server for 30 days. The next morning, after Jessica took Lily to her mother's for the day, Mark sat down at his computer and began reviewing footage from the previous evening. The first hours were unremarkable. Emily played with Lily, feeding her dinner and bathing her. Luna was visible in most frames, watching from a distance but not interfering. Then Mark reached the bedtime footage. He watched as Emily carried Lily into the nursery and laid her in the crib. Luna followed, settling into her usual spot on the floor. Emily leaned over the crib, tucking Lily in, her back to the camera. Mark was about to fast forward when something caught his eye. Emily had pulled out her phone and was holding it over the crib, apparently taking photos of Lily. It wasn't unusual. They all took countless pictures of the baby. But then Emily glanced at the door, reached into her pocket, and pulled out a small object that she placed in the crib next to Lily. Mark leaned closer to the screen, rewinding and zooming in. It looked like a tiny camera, no bigger than a button. Emily positioned it carefully among Lily's stuffed animals, then took more photos with her phone, seemingly documenting the placement. A cold feeling settled in Mark's stomach as he continued watching. Luna, who had been lying quietly beneath the crib, suddenly rose and moved toward Emily, her posture changing from relaxed to alert. Emily reached into her pocket again, this time pulling out what appeared to be a small transmitter. As she attempted to place Luna under the crib mattress, Luna began to growl. Emily turned, noticing Luna's aggressive stance. She quickly pocketed the transmitter and tried to move away from the crib, but Luna positioned herself between Emily and the door, her growl intensifying. What happened next confirmed Mark's worst fears. Emily dashed to the door, and Luna lunged, not at Emily's throat as she had claimed, but at her pocket where she had just hidden the transmitter. Emily managed to escape, and Luna immediately returned to the crib, using her paw to bat at the blankets until the tiny camera fell to the floor. The Bobcat then settled beneath the crib again, her eyes fixed on the door, standing guard. Mark sat back in his chair, feeling sick. He rewound further, checking footage from previous evenings when Emily had babysat. 3 times in the past month, he found similar incidents. Emily placing small devices in or around Lily's crib when she thought no one was watching. Each time, she had removed them before Jessica and Mark returned home. But last night, Luna had finally intervened. With shaking hands, Mark picked up his phone and called the police. Detective Sarah Rodriguez sat across from Jessica and Mark at their kitchen table, a grim expression on her face. Luna had been confined to the bedroom during the interview, despite Mark's insistence that she had been the one to uncover the crime. Based on the footage you've provided and the device we recovered from your daughter's nursery, we have enough evidence to arrest Emily Reynolds, Detective Rodriguez explained. The camera was broadcasting to an external server, and our tech team is already tracing the connection. But why? Jessica's voice broke as she asked the question that had been tormenting her since Mark showed her the footage. Emily was my best friend. Why would she do this to Lily? To us? Detective Rodriguez's expression softened slightly. Ms. Thompson, Mr. Thompson, I need to prepare you for what we might find. The type of equipment Ms. Reynolds was using is commonly associated with networks that produce and distribute exploitation content involving minors. Jessica covered her mouth, a small sound of distress escaping despite her effort to remain composed. Mark reached for her hand, his face pale, with shock. You mean she was filming our baby for... He couldn't bring himself to finish the sentence. We don't know the full extent yet, the detective cautioned. But based on the sophistication of the equipment and the server connections we've traced, so far it appears to be part of a larger operation, not an isolated incident. How long has it been going on? Jessica asked, her voice barely audible. We'll need to review all your security footage, but from what Mr. Thompson has already found, at least several weeks. The good news, if there can be any in this situation, is that your pet's intervention appears to have prevented any extended broadcasting. The camera we recovered was only activated last night and was disabled when it fell to the floor. Mark looked toward the bedroom door, behind which Luna was undoubtedly listening. She knew somehow. She knew from the very beginning that Emily was a threat. Detective Rodriguez nodded thoughtfully. Animals often sense deception in ways humans can't explain. Your Bobcat was protecting your child the only way she could. The weeks that followed were a blur of police interviews, evidence collection, and crushing betrayal. Emily's arrest led to the discovery of a network spanning 3 states, with at least a dozen other families unknowingly victimized. 5 additional arrests were made, including the ringleader, a man Emily had been secretly dating for the past year. I struggled with overwhelming guilt, Jessica told Mark one night, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset. Luna lay at their feet, and Lily slept peacefully in Jessica's arms. I brought her into Lily's life. You couldn't have known, Mark said firmly. None of us could have known, except Luna. As if recognizing her name, Luna raised her head, her golden eyes meeting Jessica's. "I'll never doubt your judgment again," Jessica told the Bobcat solemnly. "You protected our family when we couldn't protect ourselves." The story of the Bobcat who uncovered a criminal operation made national news, with headlines celebrating Luna as the guardian angel in fur. Wildlife experts were fascinated by the Bobcat's ability to discern the threat that the humans around her had missed completely. Mark's Wildlife Center colleague suggested that Luna's heightened protective instincts might have been triggered by subtle changes in Emily's scent or behavior that indicated deception, changes imperceptible to humans, but obvious to an animal with acute senses. Whatever the explanation, Luna's status in the Thompson household was elevated from beloved pet to family hero. The organization, which had initially expressed concerns about keeping a bobcat in a home with an infant, issued a special commendation praising Luna's protective instincts. 1 year later, as Lily celebrated her second birthday in the backyard of their cabin, Jessica watched Luna keeping a watchful eye on the toddler from her favorite spot beneath a pine tree. The bobcat had returned to her usual calm demeanor after Emily's arrest, no longer displaying the anxiety and aggression that had characterized her behavior during those troubling months. "She's back to her old self," Jessica remarked to Mark as he joined her, carrying slices of birthday cake. "She did what she needed to do," Mark replied, his gaze following Luna as she rose and stretched, then padded over to where Lily was playing with her new toys. "She identified a threat, she protected Lily until we understood, and then she could relax again." Detective Rodriguez, who had remained in touch with the family and had been invited to the birthday party, approached with a smile. "Your furry security system seems to be enjoying the celebration," she observed. Jessica laughed. "She approved all the guests on the list." "As you should," the detective said more seriously. "You know, in all my years in law enforcement, I've never seen anything quite like what Luna did. The case against Emily and her associates is ironclad because of your security footage. But without Luna forcing the issue that night, who knows how long it might have continued?" Mark nodded soberly. "The experts all said the same thing. Luna wasn't just being a protective pet. She was deliberately trying to expose what Emily was doing, trying to communicate the danger to us in the only way she could." Boo. "The judge who sentenced Emily mentioned Luna in his remarks," Detective Rodriguez told them. "He said it was a reminder that innocence has many protectors, not all of them human." As if on cue, Lily toddled over to Luna, throwing her arms around the bobcat's neck in a hug that would have alarmed most parents. Luna simply nuzzled the child gently, a low purr rumbling in her chest. "She saved more than just Lily," Jessica said softly, watching the pair. "The other children who were already being exploited by that network, the ones who might have been targeted next. She saved them too." The afternoon sun bathed the yard in golden light as family and friends gathered around to watch Lily blow out her birthday candles, with Luna standing guard beside her high chair, a silent sentinel whose watchful care had unmasked a hidden evil and protected the innocent child she had claimed as her own from the very beginning. In the Thompson home, Luna would always be more than a pet. She was the guardian who had sensed a danger no human could see, the protector who had refused to let evil approach the cradle she guarded, and the hero who had brought justice not just for one family, but for many. And each night, as Lily fell asleep beneath the watchful gaze of her feline guardian, Jessica and Mark gave silent thanks for the mysterious bond between a wild creature and a human child. A bond that had proven stronger than deception, more perceptive than human judgment, and ultimately capable of confronting darkness with the fierce protective light of unconditional love.